Just like that, Season 15 for Overwatch 2 is finally coming to a close, and I gotta say, what a great season it has been. As I continue to reshape my channel and make everything that I want to make, I do like to do these retrospectives at the end of seasons, and I'm not gonna forget this season like I did last time. So, I am here ready to talk about some of the stuff that I didn't really make full videos on, just so I can expand on how I liked or didn't like how they're implemented. But again, I think Season 15 was a wild success, much more so than I think we could have ever anticipated, and I'm really glad that the future of Overwatch looks so bright, because it doesn't just end here. Season 16 has so much stuff coming, so much more to talk about, and I think they're going to try and keep up the pace of the interesting events so that we have a lot more to do and to talk about going forward. But that will be for another time. Season 16 comes out next week, probably in a day or two after this video goes live. What we're talking about right now, of course, is Season 15, the hottest topics that happened during it. And of course, we have to start with perks. I made a video about perks already. I'm not going to expand on that, but I will kind of give you where my head's at 2 months later, right? I told you in that initial impressions video that I really liked it, and I had a couple of, maybe possible problems that might be going on with it in the future. But so far, what I've played, I mean, they have been so much more well-rounded and well-realized than I could have ever anticipated for this kind of system. I was very concerned when we first heard about them, and really the majority of those concerns are gone. The implementation was quite limited, it was very restrained, and I think that's exactly what Overwatch needed. It brought in a lot of interesting flair, a lot of potential to, change them out whenever they get stale without completely breaking the whole game. So the game just gets so much more interesting on a base level without the fundamental core of Overwatch shifting to such an extreme degree. And really, playing with perks is fun, even if the perks themselves aren't necessarily the most interesting. The choices that you have to make when you use them, playing around them, that is what is interesting. That is what is so good about this system. I cannot believe that we are in a world where I am okay with the sort of character customization in Overwatch. They have gone above and beyond while doing such a limited release and limited system of it. I think it's ironic how perfect and so good that it is with how much isn't really there. Not to say that there isn't effort or anything. I'm not trying to devalue what the dev team have done here. I'm just saying it's not a super complicated stadium level system in the main game, and that is absolutely a good thing. On the topic of perks, the thing that happened this season as well when they launched, of course, was a rank reset. Now, a lot of people are pretty anti-rank reset. They think they are more harmful than they are good. Yes, I can see all those arguments. I do think psychologically a rank reset is a nice thing to have every once in a while. But what I think is particularly really good about this one is because the game has shaken up in a substantial way. When Season 9 did the first rank reset, I think it made sense, right? The game was kind of changing. There were a lot of different systems, but at the end of the day, it was still Overwatch. But this time, yeah, I mean, there was a really big shift. You had to know how to utilize perks to win more often, right? You had to pick the right ones, you have to implement them, and I think a lot of people probably weren't able to do that, and some people who were a little lower might be able to do that more effectively. So resetting the ranks, I think, has made the most sense it has ever had in this season in particular, because there actually is a new skill set that you have to implement into the game, and just keeping everybody at that same rank that they were wouldn't really work, because a lot of people would, not really kind of understand everything they need to do. The other argument is that it's not that transformative, so it would adjust itself at the end of the day. But again, there's that whole psychology behind it about it feels good to have the ranks reset, have something to do, something to climb for, etc., etc. And I don't think it is a net negative with all the things that changed here. So I think it was fine. It's good. Yearly rank resets don't matter to me so much. Half a year, it's a little, I'm not as sold on that idea. But this one in particular, I think, was the most needed out of all of them. Okay, I've been waiting to talk about this one. I have been waiting to talk about the loot boxes. Not because of like how they were implemented or how they work in the game, whatever. We gotta talk about Blizzard giving us so many of them. Oh, it's a good thing. Of course, we get so many loot boxes. We get 13 a week. And we also get like a boost at the beginning, like with Twitch drops or whatever. That's so great. Oh my God, we've gotten so many loot boxes. Guys, it is going to slow down dramatically. It's going to be a disaster. I am foreseeing everyone being really, really upset with how limited the distribution of loot boxes is going to be going forward. You are going down from literally for 2 months getting 13 loot boxes a week, basically guaranteeing yourself at least 5 or 6 legendaries throughout the season, not even on top of like the extra loot boxes you could get. And now you're going down to 3 a week, and that's if you play 27 games or like complete whatever it gives you bonuses. But that's a way more of a commitment. I think that Blizzard really did not consider the consequence of being so generous and then pulling it so far back. It is going to kick back up in their face. I would not be surprised if they actually change how the system works. They give you 1 or 2 more a week. Maybe they do an event where it's like, hey, play 5 games and we'll just give you 3. So then you're getting like 6 a week if you play. Something like that. I think they really, really need to reconsider this, because they have kind of put themselves in a bit of a bad spot now that they've set an expectation about how many loot boxes you're going to get, and then that expectation is being reduced like over 75%. Ooh, that is going to be a tough one for them. Do I think loot boxes being not able to pay for them, all of that, that's great, right? Obviously that's good. That's the only way I think a loot box system would be a good idea to bring back, and since that is, perfect. But this rollout is going to bite them in the ass, I think. So they need to take a look on that, because I can feel the storm brewing, and it is going to suck after a week or two when people start realizing just how little they're getting, on top of all the Doki Watch skins being, like most of them, being paid shop skins. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. All right, Le Seraphim. Now, I don't like or care for K-pop. I did not like the initial line of the Le Seraphim skins, and to be quite honest with you, I don't really like this line either. Just not my aesthetic, not my thing. If you're having fun with it, great, cool, good for you. I will say, though, and I understand it is a girl group, I get that. It is a little disappointing to just see, again, it's the same band, and it's just yet another, like, series of kind of like the usual suspect characters. With, you know, like, I think Ilyari doesn't get that many skins, so that's nice for her. And hers is my favorite out of the bunch. But, like, surely we could give one to Lucio, or, like, even Lifeweaver, or somebody else that would fit. It feels like a bit of a missed opportunity not to go with a different group that might have different style and sensibility. Now, obviously, these skins are styled differently than the first ones, but I don't quite get it. Like, it feels like sloppy seconds, honestly, to go back in for Le Seraphim, and not even bring back the game mode. And then the free skin was the free skin from before. Like, I don't know, something about it just didn't really sit right with me. That being said, again, I don't really care about this collab in general, so I'll just end it there. Like, I have nothing, like, real to say. You can disregard my opinion. I just, to me, it felt a little weird. Like, I did not like this collab, or I don't really like the idea behind this collab this time around. But, you know, if you had fun, if you like the skins, I mean, I'm not going to judge you. Like, obviously, it's like, have fun. It's okay. Right after that, though, Freja. And again, I've made a video on Freja, obviously. I don't even remember. I think it was just one. Sure. I don't know. Freja is awesome. I like Freja a lot. She is complex, but pretty simple, right? Like, you have a lot that you can do, but your moves and everything you do it's pretty, like, understandable. there's a lot of complexity with how you weave them together and how you use that, and that's great. I loved Freya. I thought she was super duper fun. I am a little concerned with the buffs that she's getting because I thought that Freya already was pretty exploitable. We just hadn't gotten to see it yet with her ult passive. Buffing her ult, and I know I complained about her ult, but buffing her ult is scary. I think it's very scary. And also like buffing her primary fire, like you are just begging to make an ult bot character. And we don't want that. Like, that is not an interesting play style, just to be like, okay, Freya, you just build ult. That's what you do. Somebody else goes and gets kills, and then you finish them, and then, like, you just shoot the tank, or whoever is going to give you the most ult charge, and then you just hit your button first. I'm a little concerned that that's going to happen. We'll see how they actually implement those changes going forward. But overall, yeah, Freya is fun. I really like Freya. I'm looking forward to her, obviously. I've got my hesitations about going forward, but literally as Season 15, as a retrospective, I'm trying not to look forward too much. It's good. I'm really excited. I am excited to get my hands back on her in less than a week. Not even when this video goes live. So that is great. 6v6. Okay, let's talk about the rollout of this first. I had actually already been playing open queue with a friend because he wanted to. He's liked 2 tanks. He liked just playing open queue or whatever, open queue, whatever. So when this went live and replaced regular open queue, I was already like Diamond 2, and that's only like barely placing and whatnot. So I very quickly got to Masters and just like could not play with anybody else. And I didn't really want to solo queue, and I didn't really want to wait for everyone to catch up because they were starting from, you know, the bottom. So then I just kind of stopped. Like, I had fun playing 6v6, but the thing about it is that I don't think I would play 6v6 alone. And it's just because, like, I think it's more fun with people, and I think that's part of why a lot of people really like 6v6. I find 5v5 more fun when you're just kind of like hopping in, playing kind of by yourself, maybe with one other person. 6v6 I think is a much more collaborative group experience. And I think that's where a lot of people really find the value in it. Of course, there's a lot more to it. This implementation of 6v6 with the perks, with, you know, characters being a lot closer to their power level that they are in Overwatch 2 as it stands in 5v5, I think it was the more fun version of it. I think the other tests were really flawed and showed a lot of old Overwatch design back, but this is new Overwatch design with the 6v6 coat of paint, and I think it works better. And I might make a video on this later. I've been kind of thinking about it in the background. My hot take is that I don't think the format matters. I actually think that 5v5, swapping to 5v5 and making changes to the game surrounding 5v5 was actually really more of like confirmation bias of like, it feels like, oh, 5v5 was the reason that the game, you know, feels like, because all the changes that they've made in the last 3 years have been in service of 5v5. But I actually think that those changes were just in service to Overwatch in general, and that's just what Overwatch needed. And so it was like 5v5 was the catalyst that made us make those changes, but like it didn't necessarily not have to happen in 6v6. Like, I don't think 6v6 was necessarily the problem. It's the same thing of like, I was listening to Plat Chat, and I think Avril even mentioned this, that like role queue, adding role queue and having it for so long kind of fixes a lot of problems with 6v6 because people know how to pick and know how to make a proper team comp that works a lot better because role queue kind of like built that into a lot of the player base. Same thing with that, right? I think the changes that were built into Overwatch because of 5v5 just work regardless of the format, and I think they're just net positives, right? Tanks and support having more of an active role, right? I don't know. I think it's great, right? Like, I like this version of 6v6, and I like 5v5 currently. I don't think the format really matters. If somebody said, like, oh, we're playing 6v6 or we're playing 5v5, hell yeah. I don't care. We're playing Overwatch as it stands right now, and I think it's in a great, great spot. I'm not giving, like, a full, like, 6v6 review because I didn't really play it as much as I would have wanted to, but I do think that we have really lucked out. And I think that the changes that Overwatch has gotten over the last 2 or 3 years have really come to their own now that we get to see it outside of the lens of only 5v5, right? I think the changes on their, like, individually really get to show how good they were. So that's great, and I think a lot of people are going to start realizing that as 6v6 comes back in a more Overwatch 2 way, not as in an old Overwatch 1 way. And speaking of 6v6 in the Overwatch 1 way, go Oats. I made a video on this. I'm not going to dwell on it too long. Not fun. This was not fun for me. Not necessarily just goats, but really just the classic mode itself. Again, I'm not going to retread everything, but everyone not picking goats, like, it's not locked at all. Even when you do play goats, it kind of feels weird. It's kind of Frankenstein together. I don't know. I am not a goats head. I'm not an old Overwatch head. And honestly, it's really funny seeing the stark contrast between, like, goats and the new 6v6 and being like, wow, look how far we've come, right? And this one's just an experiment. This one was, like, actually what you played for a year at a time. So, yeah, goats coming back, it obviously had to come back, but this was definitely a really rough version of Overwatch Classic. The next Overwatch Classic will be the October 2020 patch. I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't think they're going to roll lock. Like, they will roll lock it, but not like when you queue. It's not going to be roll queue. We'll see how that one goes. That's probably going to be a much more enjoyable experience overall, if I had to guess. But goats, as it stands, I was not having a good time, so I didn't play it very much. That's just how it goes. Totally Normal Watch, aka the April Fool's patch this time, was fun. I did not play much of this. This is late season where I kind of was on hiatus. I went home. I was just playing other stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to completionist plus Balatro right now. And that's eating up a lot of my free time as I continue to work on it and make less and less gains as we go on. But Totally Normal Watch, yeah, it's fun. They're really silly. You play them a couple of times, figure out which characters are the silliest. I will say, I think Reinhardt, as funny as it is, was just so annoying. I don't know. I think there were a couple of pretty annoying characters in this one where it's like, I don't really want to play this version of Totally Normal Watch just because everyone's coming in and be like, I'm going to play Wrecking Ball and never ever die, or I'm going to play Reinhardt and go abduct people for 5 minutes. And it's like, man, like, at the end of the day, I want to have fun and have the sillies, but I still want to, like, play the game of Overwatch. Like, a lot of it kind of grinds it to a halt to where it's like you're not even, like, playing the game and what you're doing is kind of worthless. So, yeah, I mean, it's only here for 2 weeks. It's already gone. Great. It was fun. Whatever. Haha, funny. Nothing much to say about it. And then finally, we have the drive this season. I haven't played it yet. It literally just happened yesterday. I've been pretty busy. Did it start today? It might have started today. I don't really know. Yeah, okay. It looks nice. I'm glad that it's later in the season, right? It's actually the end of the season where the drive will finish and then you'll go right into season 16, right? Using the drive as a way to get people playing at the end of the season and make end of season games is great. Especially if it actually goes through the complete end of the season. There's no downtime there. That's exactly what I've wanted for, like, these past, 3 or 4 drives that we have already. So finally, thank you, Overwatch team. I really appreciate that one. I will go play some if I get some time this weekend because I do want to keep building my golden gun collection. Yes, I'm still buying golden guns. I want to have them all. Sue me. Sorry. And finally, I think I'll just talk generally about the balance this season. There was not much to talk about. All they really did was buff up a lot of the weaker perks. Most of them were good. I think some of them were a bit of a miss. But they weren't going to, like, refresh any of them yet, and I wasn't expecting them to. So they really let the balance sit for a while, and it was fine. Like, it was good. Actually, there was, like, a hotfix patch, wasn't there, where they nerfed a couple of things, and that one I wasn't as stoked about. Especially like the Ana change felt really bad. But overall, I think the balance for this season was good. I think the characters that were good were fun to play, and I think it created interesting stuff. There was a bit of variety, although a couple of the worst characters just kind of stayed in their spot, even with perks, which I think we all kind of, like, thought about would probably happen. You know, there were a couple of outlier characters, like everyone ate Soj, but I'm never gonna complain about a Soj meta unless she's actually like one-shotting people every 2 seconds. But yeah, I don't know. Balance was fun. I never had any complaints this season with really any character. Obviously, like Malga got shot, and that's fine. He's gone. But even then, like, he's not like a great ranked character anyways for the majority of people. So he doesn't really show up that often anyways. So yeah, good. It was good balance. I really liked it. It was fine with the perks. Like, the perks were I don't think if the balance was like, unless it was like super duper bad, then we would care, right? Like, I don't think we would care unless the balance was like horrific. But it was good. Like, I thought it was pretty good. So that's what I have to say about that. And so yeah, that's it. That's my retrospective. This season was very good. Very, very good. Next season is looking great as well. There's a lot going on at all times. More events, more things to do, more interesting changes. I'm really, really looking forward to what they continue to do, how they continue to balance, right? I think like this season, we're gonna have to really look at the balance of perks and the balance of characters outside of perks, right? And I think that is gonna like really determine how the main game plays. But, you know, that is for another video down the line. This video, season 15, good job. Better than I think anyone could have ever anticipated. Very, very happy with how everything turned out. So, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me as I kind of get through this creative stump and hiatus. I don't know if this is going to happen. Please, no promises. But I might have a video out this week about Stadium, because I've gotten to play Stadium, so I might give you a couple of tips about like how to get ahead. Not just like how to play the game, but like what are some actual strategies that I think are going to give you the most success as you start out. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I have some time, but if I do, look forward to that. Otherwise, please subscribe, like, any of that. Really do appreciate it. Subscribe to my Twitch, twitch.tv/LaneHemingway, YouTube as well. I will be getting back to a stream schedule soon. Things are going to be a little different. We're going to have like an Overwatch day, and then we're going to have like a random day or whatever. And you'll see, I'll kind of figure it out as I go once I get everything like ready. But right now I'm just kind of streaming sporadically. I'll have 2XKO this weekend, so I'll be playing that. By the time that you see this, it will be over. I don't know why I'm saying that. If you saw it in the time, thank you for coming. I'm not going to ramble too hard. Join my Discord if you want to keep up with everything. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back eventually. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Bye-bye.